If I'd have known, I would have charged you for using my van.
And Roger, I'd have been pleased to pay it.
we did a gig. This is absolutely the truth. We did a gig between the films one Sunday because I was still doing that.
Walthamstow, wasn't it?
At Walthamstow, and we didn't talk about what we were going to play. We actually got on stage and the lights came on, and I said, "What are we?" I turned to Clem. "What are we going to do then, Clem?" And he said, "How about Chattanooga?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Chattanooga Churchill, that'll do. And it's just me and Roger. He's playing piano, and I'm playing drums in this. I mean, in those days, you know, the film audiences were absolutely packed, obviously, you know, because it was between the films. And well, it went down well, though, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we did it. It was a bit
the money was
we
rubbish.
used to do Red River Rock and stuff, so a bit of
the money was rubbish, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually.
Mind you, pay for the petrol to get back to Yarmouth.
Yeah.
I understand one of the reasons of the problems in the band was Heinz and the relationship between Heinz and Joe, and perhaps you felt that there was a little bit of favouritism going on there.
Well, it was. I mean, I didn't realise at that time. It took me about 3 months to realise because Joe, I don't know, for some reason, put me in charge of the band. I suddenly became the leader, and I had to make sure that everybody turned up.
I called him the mother hen.
That's what he used to call me. Anyway, the thing was, Joe would say to me, make sure the guys all turn up in white shirts and whatever it is. Every time, you could see in every photograph, every time we turned up to have a photograph, Heinz was in something completely different. And it took me 3 months to realise, oh, hang on a minute. What Joe had done was made sure that we all looked the same, but Heinz stood out and looked different.
I've actually got that photograph with me, actually.
It's true, isn't it, Rog? You know, like he'd have a striped shirt on and we'd have white shirts on. Because obviously Joe was pushing Heinz's career, you know.
I would have thought having Heinz there as a focal point would have helped the band, and when he left...
Well, it
then
didn't help. Yeah,
he took what little glamour the band had with him.
Thank you, John.
Sorry.
No, I know what you're saying. No, you're probably right. But the thing was, you see, Heinz was... People don't know, Heinz was only with us for 8 months.
So I say glamour. You were all professionals. You were Alan Caddy.
Yeah.
Roger, you're all professionals. Heinz was just a kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know.
was glad when he left because he used to corrupt Roger. Didn't he, Rog? Or was it the other way around, Rog?
Well, whatever they say about Heinz, Heinz and I were out every night with the girls. Every night after the show, we'd always.
Which angered Joe more than anything.
We'd come out of a theatre and just go, you and you, okay, that's it. But we always had to ring Joe. I didn't, but Heinz always had to stop the cars and ring Joe.
Check in.
Joe would say things, I'm not going to swear now, but Joe would say, "You're not out with the girls with that blooming Roger, are you?" It wasn't quite like that.
Yeah.
But, and Heinz said, "No, Joe, no." But Heinz and I had quite a hell of a time, you know.
You got a lot of fan mail as well, didn't you?
So, yes, we did. But Clem was, you see, there was a rift coming between Clem and myself a bit, because I was a bit of the awkward squad, wasn't I?
You was indeed, Roger.
And
yes.
he kept having goes at me and that, you know.
But Roger was like, he'd turn up late, and I said, well, we're supposed to...
And the plug board.
And there was one night we actually didn't go on because Roger hadn't turned up. And when he did turn up, I said, "Where the hell were you? You know, what's your..." And he said, this red light came on in the car, because he had a Rover then.
That's right.
What it was saying, the red light was saying there was no oil in the engine. So what happens, he's bombing along, all of a sudden the whole thing came to a dead stop. So, you know, this was...
So you had to improvise.
I was telling Clem earlier today, just after we met up this afternoon, when the Tornadoes were playing a lunchtime show at the Playhouse Theatre down by the Thames. And I'd come down from up north in deep snow and everything, and I was coming through the underpass, coming from Knightsbridge to up by Green Park there, and just as I came out of the tunnel, my radio was on, and I had it tuned to the right programme, and there was Clem being asked on the programme, where's Roger? And he said, "I don't know, we haven't seen him for 3 days."
We're going to have to round it up now. And I'd just like to ask, what was it like recording there? Did you get any kind of atmosphere? Because I know Alan Caddy, this is the thing I should have discussed with you a bit more before, but Alan didn't really feel that Joe contributed anything in the way of talent apart from having a talent, to know about other people's talent.
Yeah, correct.
And thieving ideas. I never fully agreed with that.
Yeah.
But then I wasn't there. I've just gone on what other people say.
Alan, basically, I think Alan was probably right to a certain degree, wasn't he?
I actually, even though I thought it was a pit when I first saw that studio, I felt relaxed there because with my minimal pianisticals, I would have been completely shattered in a great big, like the Abbey Road or CBS
A
studios.
lot of people have said that, actually.
And I felt quite comfortable.
Yeah, you could,
with the ceiling falling down.
Because I know you had the problem. I mean, maybe you'd like to remind viewers of the little problem over Globetrotter, which I don't think it was your favourite record when you first heard it.
No, well, we did it. I mean, the reason was it could have sounded like Venus in Blue Jeans, you know, for start off. And I honestly think that the follow-up should have been
something powerful.
Either Love and Fury or Riding the Wind.
Yeah, even Love
Riding
and Fury,
the Wind,
yes.
you know, because that was a good...
very
George
good.
had written
Riding the Wind was marvellous.
It was a very good record. And the thing is, Joe just happened to ask me one day, he said to me, what do you think of it? And I said, I don't like it. And that was it. The whole hell broke loose. I was chased out the studios, and I was walking originally down the stairs until I heard this clatter, clatter, clatter behind me, and this tape recorder followed me down the stairs.
And all the other singles which we did after that were all Joe's, and they seemed to be getting worse.
Worse, that's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean there was no.
And we had no choice in those days. And
that was exactly.
He sold. We had a massive hit with Telstar, and then he sold us completely down the river.
Yeah.
So, hurting himself as well. I don't know why he did it. You know?
Well, because of Hines, basically, because he had more interest in Hines than he did the band. You know, that was the basic reason. But like Roger said, is quite true. That Joe wouldn't widen the horizons of getting numbers and tunes, because I'm sure there would be loads of songwriters in those days. Jerry Lorden and people like that would be chomping at the bit.
Don't forget, there was the Beatles and the whole Mersey.
Well, the Beatles came, but I mean, this is before the Beatles. I mean, Globetrotter was like, I mean, it went in the charts, because on the sales of the first one. I must admit, it was a very hard record to follow, Telstar. If that had been maybe a second or third release, it might have been different. But Joe was very narrow-minded about things. He was right on everything. He never gave us any choice as to what we were going to record.
Even in this day and age, I'm still having tapes and discs sent to me from all over the UK, from young budding people, young fans they are, but they love Telstar, and they're sending space-agey things which they've done themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of them are not bad, actually. Anything would have been better than Globetrotter.
You could say Joe Meek lives on.
Well, yeah.
It was how did it hit you when you heard that he died? What did you think?
To be honest, it didn't surprise me, because the things I never ever thought for 1 minute that Joe would ever die a natural death.
No.
Because he was one of those guys, you know, that, if you like, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Joe, but he was a mad genius, you know. And you know, you look through the whole business where a genius comes into the business, they never seem to die naturally. They either die of drugs or they die of. Well, like Joe did, unfortunately.
I was literally walking in Oxford Street when I saw the news for the evening papers. I saw the news thing: Pop Man kills himself, and I had to read. I didn't know who it was. When I saw it was Joe Meek, I was totally shocked. Actually,
and me. I mean, I was
and poor Mrs. Shenton as well.
Yeah,
oh
Shenton,
yes.
You know,
poor Mrs.
Nice,
and the
lovely lady, Mrs. Shenton.
The terrible thing is, I mean, it's Joe. I know he was out of his mind, but he screwed up his own family.
Yeah.
And the family of this poor lady.
Yeah.
And are you glad you went through all that history of the Joe Meek thing?
Yeah.
The story? Are you glad you were involved in it?
It was a part of musical career,
yes, I am.
Wasn't it?
You
know.
My biggest problem was Clem, but everything else was all right.
Well, the programme's over now, so you can fight it out now. Well, let the lights go down first. Thank you very much, Roger Laverne, Clem Cattini, marvellous, really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching.